And good morning. Welcome to the Area and Division Director Training. We are here as District 33 to welcome you and encourage and motivate everybody. You still have time to finish strong, finish the year strong. We've seen areas and divisions achieve distinguished status or higher, and we have a way and a process that we want to share with all area and division directors to finish the year strong. Before we start, I wanted to acknowledge two dignitaries. We'll first start with our district director to acknowledge distinguished Toastmaster Deborah A. Allman. Next, I'd like to introduce our club growth director and a program quality director-elect Nico Martin. Welcome, Nico. Thank you so much for being here this Saturday morning. And thank you to everybody here that served for our district. Again, this has been a great year, but we still have time to finish strong. Leading us in today's presentation called Thrive in the District Recognition Program. Please welcome Distinguished Toastmaster, Area A1 Director, President's Distinguished Status, Jim Kearney.
Thank you, Tan. Hello, everyone. I'm glad that you're all here today. I'm really going to be covering the DCP board and what it means to you at an area and division level. And it's important that we understand these different things that are going on and why the DCP board is so important, because the Toastmasters International measures everything in our areas, in our divisions, based on that DCP board. And it should be a driving factor to make sure our clubs are improving. I'm going to be sharing my screen. When I share my screen, I'm not going to be able to see all of you. I do want this to be interactive. I'm going to ask some questions, and I want for you to unmute and respond. This is going to be a two-way conversation. I am not here to lecture you. We are here together to interact, communicate, and learn together. Let me share my screen here. And here. Does everyone see it?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is my contact information. If you need to have some private conversations with me, please feel free to use that phone number. I will respond to phone faster than email. On my email, I do my work with my work computer, and I don't always go back to look at my email. So it could be days before I get this. Please use the phone number. If I don't answer, kindly leave a message. I promise you, I will call you back. So today's agenda, we're going to be going over the DC Club program. We're going to be talking about the different points that are involved and the different membership requirements that are involved. We want to go over what it means to be a distinguished area and what it means to be a division distinguished area, or distinguished division. Okay, I got it out right that time. So let's start here. So I have a bunch of slides that talk about these things with a whole bunch of words on them, and I hate words on my slides, but they're here. So let's try to talk about these, and then we'll just briefly go over those slides. So who can tell me what the base number means? Anybody? We're talking about membership here.
The base number would be the number that you need to charter a club, and then after that, it's always considered the minimum target for the size of a club.
I think the base number is the number you start with at the beginning of the year.
Correct. It's the number you start with at the beginning of the year. It's the number of people who have registered in your club during the April registration period, and they're paid through September. That would be your base. Now, Who can tell me what required means?
Required, this is Tan. Required means to meet to meet a threshold to qualify to be successful in some type of measurement.
Anybody else?
To get distinguished, to get even to meet one of the goals, the distinguished, you have to have the required amount of one of those, the 20 members or a net growth of 3 members.
Correct. This coincides mostly with what Katie was talking about, right?
Yes.
Because when you first get there, when you charter, you need to have 20, right? And then it depending on the number of people that are in the club, it fluctuates. It used to be that you had to have a net growth of 5 new members, and they've changed that from 5 to 3 because of all the pandemic stuff and how it ruined the way we do things. All right, but note the word net growth. Who can tell me what net growth means?
This is Tan. Net growth is like anything adding on to an original number. So like after you pay your fees, after you pay your bills, and after you get all your salary, that's your net. Like what are you actually taking in?
Correct. So from a Toastmasters point of view, that means your club's net growth is going to be how many people above your base that you have at the end of the year. So if you started here, this particular club started with a base of 26. If at the end of the year, they end up with 27, they have a net growth of 1. If your club loses people during the year, if you started the year at 20 and you lost 3, then how many do you need in order to qualify?
6,
Why 6?
because how many did you start with again?
20.
Oh, you started with 20, so you just need 20. So if you lost 3, you need 3 more. Sorry.
You need 3.
Yeah.
Correct. You need 3. If you started the year with 15 and you lost 4, how many do you need?
Seven.
7. If you started the year with 12, you gained 4 and lost 5, how many more do you need?
1. I think. I did it in my head.
4.
You need 4.
You need 4. You
Okay.
need 4. You need to
Brain
make
is
up.
not working yet.
I need more coffee.
More coffee, yes.
You're-
More coffee.
Your thought processing was right, but inside your head, you became dyslexic. You flipped them
Yeah.
around.
Exactly.
All right. Who can tell me what to date means?
It means how many you have at this time.
At this time. Now, with all that information that's out there, if you go and look at your club, feel free to, while I'm talking, feel free to go to the DCP dashboard, pull up your club, and then sit there and look at that and tell me what those numbers are. Are you in good shape, or do you need to do some work? So it's something for you to think about. All right. While you're doing that, I'm going to go on and talk about some points. Now, these points are the educational and administrative points that are required for the district or for the distinguished club. In order to get distinguished, you need to have at least 5 points. To be select distinguished, you need to have at least 7. And to be president's distinguished, you have to have 9 or more. Now, who can tell me the breakdown of what those goals are? Let's talk about educational goal. Who can tell me what the educational breakdown is? Anybody?
There's a goal that if a club has 4 educational achievements for level 1 pathways, if you get 4 for that club achieves it, they get to earn 1 goal.
Okay, that's one.
And there's,
Anybody else?
yeah, there's 2 level 2s, and
Okay,
then there's 2 more level 2s.
okay,
There's 2 level 3s. There's 1, 4, 5 or DTM, and then there's another 4, 5 or DTM.
correct. Awesome. So we have all those done. Now, here's the trick question. How many people have to make them?
What was the question?
Oh, that's a-
How
many
many
people?
people have to make them?
Well, it's going to be more than 1.
I think 4.
You have to have a minimum of 4 because you have 4 in level 1.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
the
there
point,
you
I'm-
go.
yeah,
But
the
if you get a level 5, all you need is 1.
correct. Now, the point I'm trying to bring out is if you are in a club and you are doing multiple pathways and you finished level 2 on one path and you applied it to club A and you finished level 2 of a second path and you applied it to club A, that second one doesn't count. It doesn't help the club.
Right.
Oh,
It has to be in separate individual people achieving those goals.
oh, did not know that.
Yes,
What
so that's why I wanted to make sure that we understood those, right?
Yeah, that's good.
It's important to know these things, especially for the VPE. Because
Which-
just throwing them willy-nilly doesn't make sense. And if you're in multiple clubs, then you don't want to just apply and then say, okay, my VPE can take care of whatever. You need to talk to that VPE because it may be that your club that you put it in doesn't necessarily need that point, but your other club can take advantage of it. So you might not want to get that credit at club A, you might want to apply it to club B, and therefore you have to tell the VPE of club A, hey, don't apply this, put it over on, let me talk to the VPE of club B and let that person take it.
So I just want to add to that. I belong to, just like many of you, multiple clubs. And for me, to help me keep track of things more easily, I was actually separating the paths. So I was working on multiple paths simultaneously.
Yep.
And just dedicating one path to one club and another path to another club. And I did not realize that was what I should have been doing. And it really helps me to understand now, because I would have done just giving level 1s to one club. So this is great. Thank you.
Well, what you just mentioned though, Yumi, you don't have to do one pathway in one club. You can do it
I
in
know.
all the clubs,
Yeah,
and then you can
But-
allocate it as needed.
true.
So there's a lot of flexibility on where
Mhm.
you give, you don't have to do one path in one club. It's,
Correct.
Yeah,
So
for
the-
me, it just worked. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
So the important thing to remember is when you're doing the pathways follows the person. The points follows the club. So when you're doing your pathways, you can do anything in any club. If like me, I'm in 16 clubs, so I can go speak in any of the club and I can apply anywhere I want in my pathways and I'll be perfectly fine. Pathways follows me. When I finish my pathways and I get ready to give out points to different clubs, I get to choose what club I want to give those to. So I would contact the VPE of those clubs and I would say, okay, take this particular point for this club. That way, if a club is looking for a level 3 and I have a level 3 available, and I also have level 1 and 2 and 4 and 5, but they only need level 3, I can give that level 3 to that club and give level 1, 2, 4, and 5 to a different club.
Jim, this is Angelina. I
Yes,
would
ma'am.
like to add also that I like how you mentioned that the person who is giving the credit and the VP need to talk, because there are clubs who have new members, and of course they will have more of the level 1s and the level 2s. And there
That
are
is correct.
clubs who have 4s, level 4s and 5s, and they don't need it for the points. So you need to look at the report, talk to the VP, where would this go for the credit? Because if they don't need it, because they need 4s or 5s, then I'll go to my club who would need 1 or 2, because we just have people who are just giving their icebreakers. So it's
Correct.
looking at the report and being intentional as to where the points or the credits would go.
Correct.
I'm going to add one more aspect. Yes, you do want to talk to the VPE, but in order for you to get that so he can see it, you have to be logged in that club as your home club until he submits it. And that's it, base camp.
Yes.
So that's how he knows, you know, besides your verbal information, that's how he knows where it's going.
I agree.
That's a great tip, Debbie. I did not know that you have to stay logged
You have
into
to
that
stay there,
club until they
yes.
finish. That's
Yeah,
very
and
good information.
Yeah, if you switch home clubs, it takes 2 hours, and you can decide to give it to someone else.
Okay.
It takes 2 hours for sitting there. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Now,
Hi, I
we-
have a question.
yes, go ahead.
How do you switch home clubs if you're in multiple clubs? How do you do it in Basecamp?
When you go to base camp, there's a drop down menu that you can select which club you want to be in. So you click on go to base camp, and then when the screen comes up, you get to pick which club you want to use.
Thank you.
Now,
You're welcome.
I have a comment too on that I found out that as a base camp director or whatever it's called, I can, if the person is not logged into mine, then I can't even see them. They don't even show up as any of the members of the club that are in pathways. I can't see where they are, what they're doing. Only one club gets to see that person. And I dislike that, but that's the way it is.
You can complain to Toastmasters International if you want. I don't. It's a way to control how to make things happen in the right club, in the correct club.
Yeah.
Right?
I
And
understand.
if it goes willy-nilly, then there's no way for Toastmasters to control it, and then points could be given to the wrong club, and then they're not going to go in there and try to swap. Right? Once it's been assigned, that's it. It's done.
No,
It's a done deal.
Actually, that's not true, Jim.
Okay, here we go.
They will change it for you.
They'll change it for Debbie Almond.
No, they'll change it for a club officer.
Okay.
Now, besides the educational points, there's the administrative points. Who can tell me what those administrative points are? Anybody?
Renew your club. Let's see. Submit your club officer list on time, and renew your club at least one of the 2 renewal periods on time.
Awesome. Anyone else?
Let's see.
The club officers training.
And your membership on time.
Okay, so tell me about club officers training. That was Angelina?
Yes, club officers train June to August, at least 4, and club officers train November to February, at least 4.
Correct. You need a minimum of 4 during both training periods. And I have a lot of club officers that say, oh my God, I just went through training 6 months ago. Yes, I understand, but it's being offered twice a year and you need to show up twice a year. So make sure that your club officers know this if they don't already. And then I think it was Katie that talked about members?
Yes.
And what was your comment, Katie?
You have to have at least 8 members in by the due date.
8 members by June 30. Correct.
Well, June
So
30th, and if you're a 6-month club, then December 31st.
So you have the goal is 4 new members and then 4 new members, and you get points for each one of those. Katie wrapped them all up into 8, but that is correct. That is what we're looking for. Now, let's see what we have here in terms of slides to make sure we went over everything. So we got the word slides coming up. So everyone quickly read them really quick. Did you read that fast enough?
You're a genius to put so much on one page, Jim.
Okay, so the Distinguished Club program, we talked about membership where you need a net growth of at least 3 if you are less than 17. Right?
Yeah.
And otherwise you need 20 or more. All right. So if you're at 20, that is actually where the district wants to be. The district wants all clubs to be at 20. Now, how do we get there? And this is something that a lot of clubs have a problem with because they say, oh, we don't have any members and we can't get and we can't grow. There are 3 membership drives put on by Toastmasters International during the year. And the goal of each of those drives is to get 5 new members in your clubs. So as an area director and the division director, you should be pushing those drives onto those clubs. Because if each club got 5 new members in all 3 of those drives, that's 15 new members every year. You would never have a membership problem. Your club will thrive, but you have to go out and get those people. If you don't push that on the club and they don't reach it, then, if you always do what you've always done, you're always going to get what you've always gotten. Some mindsets have to change and make those happen. We talked about net growth and how you want to end up with more than your base at the end of the year. We talked about what the base was, the number of members you had on July 1. We talked about our educational goals, and we talked about the remaining DCP goals, the administrative goals. Now we want to talk about a distinguished area program. So all you area directors, I hope you have your ears open. There are 3 different parts to the distinguished area, right? You want to be distinguished, you want to be select distinguished, or you want to be president's distinguished. In order to be distinguished, you need to have at least 50% of the clubs in your area be distinguished. So if you have 4 clubs, you need at least 2 of them to be distinguished. If you have 5 clubs, you need 3 because you can't get 2.5 clubs to be distinguished. You need the 3rd one. It has to be a whole number. Distinguished club, for select distinguished, you need to have at least 50% of the clubs in your area plus a new club, right? Is that right? Oh no, that's not right.
No.
It says plus 1 more distinguished club. So you want 50% plus 1. So they're only talking about distinguished clubs. So if you have 4 clubs in your area, then you need 3 of those clubs to be distinguished. 50% plus 1 club. For the president's distinguished, this is the one. So for the president's distinguished, you want to have 50% of the clubs be base, and you want to have a net club growth of 1. Now here's the trick part, because we already talked about what net growth meant. So coming from an area, if you have 4 and you need a net growth of at least 1, how many do you need to end the year with?
5.
5. If you have 4, 1 gets suspended and you chartered 1, how many do you need to get president's distinguished?
One more.
1 more.
1 more. Absolutely correct. Remember, we're talking about net. So if you've lost one and added one, net, you stay the same. So you need that extra one in order to become president's distinguished. Are there any questions on what it means to be select, distinguished, or president's distinguished, or just regular distinguished area?
My only comment is I like how they add on each other. That when you reach distinguished, then you get one more distinguished to be select, but that also qualifies towards the president. And then you get that +1 club, and then you get the president. So I like how they accumulate that way.
Yes. Yes, Tim.
Yes, so the suspended club, that is like a -1 club. Can the areas help, or if that suspended club becomes back into regular status, that's good, and then the growth is still only 1, correct? After
That is correct.
after this club becomes unsuspended.
Correct. Okay, so we went over these parts here, all these words. Oh my God. We talked about the net club growth. We talked about our base and how it changes for the clubs. So now we're going to look at the distinguished division program. This is for the division directors. So if you want to have a distinguished division, you need to have at least 40% of all the clubs in your division to be distinguished or better. 40% of all the clubs in your division to be distinguished or better. If they're going to be select distinguished, you need to have at least 45% of those clubs to be distinguished or better. And for president's distinguished, you need 50% or more. Plus, I think there's a club growth. What does it say there? Percent of divisions club base plus the net growth of 1. Yes, I knew there was a net growth in there somewhere. All right, plus a net growth of 1. So Debbie,
So-
you were going to say something?
Yeah. You're talking about base number of clubs, correct?
That
When you
is
apply-
correct.
So
That is
okay,
correct. The base, the base.
Yeah, so good.
So if you have 40 clubs in your division on the base, and all of a sudden you lost 5 clubs, how many clubs do you need to have to be distinguished?
Well, you need 16 total, so you'll have to add back the 5.
Correct. You can't have a net loss. Absolutely correct, Debbie. Thank you so much for making that clear. Are there any questions about the division and how to become
Yes,
distinguished selector?
what about the qualifier
Which one are you talking about?
for area? It's to have your area director reports turned in 75%.
Oh, yes, of course. Wow, thank you, Debbie. I don't know why that's not on that chart.
It was on, if you go back to slide 10, a couple of slides, it was there. It's one of the slides you kind of zip through. There you go.
Oh, there it is. Yes. So you do need to have a 75% minimum of the reports done. We talked about no loss. We talked about the net club. We talked about how many you have here and let's see. Divisions, club base and numbers, paid clubs. Yes, we talked about what those are already. So I want to just throw up this picture. So now we have areas, we have different things that go on with our clubs. And we have to sit there and say to ourselves, how do we turn around and make sure we're successful? And Debbie mentioned the qualifier about the area director club reports. And here's the club reports. You don't have to memorize this. You don't have to sit here and try to read it. I will supply a updated version of the slides to you when we get to the question and answer period. But there is a area director's report, and I'll give you the link for it so you can go straight to it if you want. And these things are very, very straightforward. And the good thing about the way that they do these now is that they give you insight into the club. Usually people would just go in, they would say whatever they want to say, and they would throw some stuff up there. But the way it's designed now, it actually gives the trio insight into the club to see how that club is doing and what's going on inside the club, because you have to start giving comments about different things of what's going on in the club. And a lot of times those used to get skipped, but this new report puts it in there and you're required to do it. So it's very good and it's very useful for the district leadership to make use of that. Next, of course, you have a club success plan. And again, I'll give you links for this, but you have to ask yourself, anytime you do this in normal life, you don't just, if you're going to go out on vacation, you don't just get up and just go. You plan. You decide where you're going to go, what kind of hotel you're going to stay in. You budget some money. You have a plan in place in order to make sure your goal is reached and that vacation is successful. And it's no different for a club. You want to have a club success plan in place for all your clubs. I have a club calendar. I sent it out in the email for the club calendar. And in that club calendar, it shows where the officers should look at it and set up a design, and then how they review it and sign it and submit it. And all that is spelled out in the calendar. And as an area director and division directors, you should be holding your clubs accountable for having these done and getting them inputted or uploaded onto the TI website, because this is the club's roadmap to success. And if they don't have that roadmap, they don't have that plan, they're not going to succeed. They're just running willy-nilly. It's very important that you get those done at the club. And of course, you have the same thing at the area and the division level. How is your area going to succeed? How is your division going to succeed? So area and division directors, these are your plans. You're supposed to fill these out at the beginning of the year, and then you follow those throughout the year in order to make sure that your area and division are successful. What we covered the foundation of the DCP program, and there are several different district recognition things that are going on. Tan, would you care to explain some of the district recognitions that go out?
Yes, good morning. For the district purpose, again, the areas you have the opportunity to achieve the select, the distinguished, or the president's distinguished, the division directors, the same way Jim just mentioned, the distinguished, the select distinguished, and the president's distinguished. For the district level, we are, again, your success is the district success. So as base clubs get chartered or pulled out of suspended status, the base grows, the base count grows, and that's one of our requirements as the district recognition program. The second is the membership payments. So just as clubs and divisions and areas, they need to have paid members to remain in good standing, the district recognition program on a district level requires the membership payments to grow also. And then the last qualifier for the district level program is the distinguished clubs. So as clubs are achieving their DCP goals, The areas will benefit and also qualify to become distinguished areas. Divisions is the same way. And for the district, we need to have about, I think it was 68. Debbie, you can correct me or not. I think it's
It's
63 or
66 for presidents distinguished. And
yes.
yeah,
So that's where our district pre-qualifiers are. And then we also have a district success plan. So just much like areas and divisions, we have a district success plan. We have the budgeting, funding requirements that we have to submit to world headquarters. So there's a couple of more prerequisites for the district level, but that's how our district, as far as recognition program is put forth at the beginning of the year.
Thank you, Tim. We already went over the Distinguished Area and Division program in the DCP, right? So I want to remind everyone that the area and division directors, you should be aware of the club goals. Just like the trio goes out and they read all the area director reports, you as an area director and a division director, you should be reading the club success plans. And when you do that, you can see what the club goals are and you can help drive those clubs in that direction. So it's important that the club success plans are done. They help the club, they help the area, they help the division. Everybody stays on track. If you have them done and everyone who is involved with it is driving towards those goals. There are, of course, resources that are available. And again, I'll give links and things like that at the end. Oh, well, there they are. So you don't have to memorize it. I will put a copy of this into the chat room for you. And before I turn around and stop sharing this, are there any questions over the things that we've discussed on these slides?
yes.
Okay, let's talk about these slides first. I do want to go in and show you the stuff on the website, right? So the actual dashboards and what they look like and things like that. So Debbie, you had some questions?
Well, it's more of a statement. There is an online club success plan now, and it takes you a half an hour to fill it out. And it also shows you every member, what paths they're enrolled in, what levels they have submitted, and you're able to easily plan your president's distinguished, whichever goal you're achieving, right there online. So that is, that's the updated club success plan. Very easy, Club Central.
Yes. And they even changed the way it was done. It used to be 26, 27 pages long. Now it's down to like 10. So they made it very, very club centralized and
Yes.
they made it easier. If you're an area director and a division director and you haven't gone and looked at this, I highly recommend that you look at it exactly the way Debbie was saying. It makes everything so much easier to see.
Yep. Yep.
Tan, you had your hand raised?
Yes, I understand we have a kind of wide and a diverse audience today. We have current district officers and elected and incoming area directors. So everybody has a little bit different background, but the area director visit reports, they're a tool and they are an opportunity for you as a district officer to gauge the execution and the planning and the type of environment that a club has to offer within and outside of their club meetings. So it's a very strong report. One club meeting should not define a report. So it's recommended area directors do multiple visits before submitting of that report. So I know we all kind of know that, but there's some newer directors and newer officers online. I just want to let you know the opportunity. You have some flexibility with the area director visit reports. You can also communicate with the club officer team to get some inputs. You don't have to do everything based off of a visit. You could do it based off of phone calls and learn about the club's membership building programs or holidays, milestone meetings. So you don't just do it just doesn't have to be a visit. It can be multiple avenues to collect information from your clubs. So that's for all the area directors. And again, the deadline to get that qualifier in is the May 30th, the end of May for round 2. Out. That's it for me.
Awesome. Thank you, Tim. I recommend that you actually visit the club 3 times. That's what I like. I want to visit the club at least 3 times. If you already know the club, maybe you don't have to do it because you've been there before, you know the people that are in the club, and you know how it's going. Maybe you can get away with 2, but I recommend at least 3. And I recommend that the area director holds a area director meeting at least once a month with all the club presidents and VPEs. Highly recommend it. It will make your job as an area director a lot easier, and your guidance will guide that club into the directions that they need to go in. So if you don't have that communication going on, there could be a lack of success. The more communication you have and the more support you give the clubs, the more those clubs will trust you, the more they will see you as the answer person, the more they will come to you and talk to you and help solve problems. And you are there to service those clubs. That's your job. It's service centric. It's not, oh my God, what am I going to get out of it? It has nothing to do with you. It's nothing to do with you personally. It's always about the members of the club and how do we get those members to succeed. All right. If there's no other questions, any other question? If not, I'm going to stop sharing the slides. No question. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing the slides. And I want to, let's see if I have it open. I want to show you the dashboards. Does everyone see the dashboard?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So if you go to you can easily get to the district performance, right? Let's see, copy the link. Copy the link. Where's chat? Chat. Paste. Okay, so this is the link to get there. When you get there, you select your district. And this is what the district level is at, right? So you can sit here and you can see what's going on. Now, if you're an area and a division, the area director or division director, you could be looking here. And this will tell you how they're set up. And in particular, you could see this one for Division A, right? It's right up at the very top. And you see here where it says A1, the president's distinguished. And when you're there, you can sit there and you can see what all these clubs are, right? Which ones are distinguished, which ones are select distinguished, which ones are president's distinguished. You can see them all. And you can also see the ones that have not had anything, right? They're not distinguished yet. So if you were the area director for this particular area, you would probably want to go contact Division A leaders and you want to talk to them and find out, well, what's going on? Every other one in every other club in the area is distinguished or better. What's stopping Division A from getting that goal? Especially now, right? You only have 2 months left. So as the area director, you should go talk to them and find out what's going on, what do they need? And you should push them to get whatever it is that they're trying to get in order to become distinguished or better. Remember, the district goal is for every single club to be distinguished or better. Now, you can't control the whole 120 clubs, right? As an area director, all you have control over is the club's success of the ones that are in your area. So those are the ones that you would have to concentrate on. If you wanted to see where they are, this is how to do it. Then, of course, you can select any one of these and you can turn around and go look at the club, right? So if we want to look at Division A and see what the problem was, it's immediately you can see the problem. They had a base of 14. They currently have a base of 14. They need 17. They're missing 3 people. So Division A needs to get 3 people. They've already met the education goals. So they have enough points to become distinguished, but they don't have the members. So they need to go out and get those members. If you are an area director in Division A, you should join this club. You can help them get that point. For those of you who don't know what leadership clubs are, they're out there. They are designed to teach leadership for their divisions. Or yes, for the divisions. So division, if you're a leader in Division A and you're not in that club, you're missing out on a whole slew of education that's out there. I know that Division A has it, Division C has it, Division F has it, Division G has one, and I know there's an overall arcing one called Membership Masters, which is at the district level and supports all those leadership clubs. The information is out there and the leadership is out there, and if you're not taking advantage of it, you should be. Now, there's something else I wanted to point out here, because a lot of times people talk about, oh, how do I know what, and how do I know what clubs I should concentrate on, and who comes first and what comes next? If you look over here on the left-hand side, if you look on the left, you can see over here where it says daily reports and additional reports. So these are important. If you go to your daily reports, you can sit here, you can see which clubs are new, who has sponsors and mentors. You can see who reaches the Triple Crown. You can see educational achievements. Now, I don't know if you guys are looking at these or not, but I use this particular one every single month because I write an area director's report, or not a report, an area director's newsletter. And in my newsletter, I congratulate everyone who achieves some sort of educational achievement within the last month. So I go to this all the time, and I manipulate the information to find out who did what for the given month that I was looking for. And then I put that in my newsletter. Remember that kudos are very important. No matter how small the kudo is, the more kudos you give, the more you build the confidence and build everything about the people that are receiving those. So it's very important that you do things like that. Also, there's there's additional reports. I don't know if any of you have gone to see these before, but these are really cool reports. There's some in here that I think we should really take a concentrated look at. So in District 33, you can see what our district goals are, right? So it's the clubs, the number of payments, all this information. It tells you what percentage we are across the world, how we rank. It's really nice. But this one right here, this almost distinguished club, this is the one you should be hitting and you should be looking at very often, because in here, it will list every club that is almost distinguished, and it will tell you exactly what it has. It'll tell you how many goals they have. It'll tell you how many paid members are in the club, and it'll tell you how many more members they need. And you can sit here and figure it out. For instance, you can sit here and look at Metamorphosis, right? So they already have 7 goals, but they're missing one person. So if someone went and talked to the officers of this club and pushed them to get that one person, they would become a select distinguished club. These are the clubs that are almost there. And if you click on this and you go down and you look at it and you find your club in here and you find out, oh, the only thing you're missing is 1 or 2 people, but you already have points, that means you know what your job is. You need to go find those people. Remember, the district goal is every club to be distinguished or better. It's up to us as area directors and division directors to push that out and make that happen. And the more clubs that become distinguished or better, the more successful the district will be, and the happier everything is. I've always found that clubs who have 20 or more people are a lot happier than clubs that have 8 or 9 people.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend you build them up. The other district goal is 20 members per club. I really, really, truly hope that we push that and we make that happen. It's the one thing that's going to make everything fun. Now,
Jim,
are the,
Jim, can I
yes,
ask again how you got to this page?
yes, I went to the dashboard
Yeah,
and then I selected,
this, how do you get to that page?
I went to this dashboard.
I'm cool with this.
Okay.
And then you went,
Over here, you see the reports, right? There's daily reports and
oh,
additional reports.
additional reports. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Additional reports.
So if you click on the additional reports, then you come, you
I'm
come
good.
to this site.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So I'm going to stop. Wait, before I do, are there any questions on what I covered here?
Jim, Angelina here.
Yes, ma'am.
On this slide, I also found it very helpful to, if you can click that area to dos, it breaks down for every area what needs to be done and what is completed. Yes.
Yes, yes.
And then you scroll down to what specific area you have. It will tell you need one more paid club, you need one more distinguished, and all this. Very helpful.
Yes. So if you're a division director, you come down here and look at what you need for your division. And then if you're the area director, you come in and look at this.
Exactly. Yeah, that
And
was
see,
very neat.
even here at area 1, they sit there and they tell you division A leaders has 5 DCP points, but they still need 3 people. Right? So it highlights it. It highlights it for you. It tells you what the problem is, and then you as the area director can go out and you can try to help resolve that issue and push them forward. And they do this for every single area. So if you're an area director, you can come out here and look at this area and it'll tell you wherever you are, whatever your area is, it'll tell you what there is, it'll tell you what you need to do. And you can sit there as an area director and you can drive those changes and make them happen. The tools are here. If you're not using them because you don't know them, now you know. Surprise!
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to open it up for questions. Anyone have any questions at all about the stuff that we covered throughout this whole meeting? We have about 7 minutes left.
So I'm going to say thank you. I have to rush off to at 10 o'clock, but I so appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. I'm glad that you came by.
Yeah, it was great.
And this is just great timing for this presentation. It's when we're thinking about it. Really good job.
Yes. We mentioned, I want to mention members again. It's important about membership because right now, we are in the Beat the Clock membership drive competitions, right? So Toastmasters International has Beat the Clock going out there. And during Beat the Clock, every single club is supposed to be trying to get 5 new members before June 30. So if your clubs aren't out there trying to beat the clock, you need to push them to get those members. Members are the lifeblood of a club. The more members you have, the more fun it is, the more successful those clubs will be. Any other question, Nico?
Yes. Just want to mention something that wasn't mentioned in this training because it's not part of it. But actually, but there's a association or relation to our clubs that less than 8 members. Those are qualifiers for our paid clubs. The number there that you saw, 131, 120. There are 6 clubs there. There's one in Division A that only needs 1 member. That's the High Desert, and Los Amigos in Division B only need 2 members. So
the
that
one in
they
Division A will be taken care of.
Awesome. That's good. Then Foster Farm and Division F only need 3. And Linguistic Division F only need 2. Division F, the Downtown Overachievers, they changed the name. That one only need 3. And
we need 2 more. We need 2 more.
We're working on it actually.
Yeah.
This one had a longer list before. Now we're just down to 6. But
Yes.
of course, we need everyone's help on it. And there's also Voices of the Valley. They only need 4. And those are qualifiers. And once we get those, We just need our new clubs. One of them is parliamentarian, which is going to have a May 17th next week kickoff meeting, demonstration meeting. So if you're interested in parliamentarian procedure, please let Katie know that so we can send you the Zoom link. And we also have a few more clubs that we are chartering. The one is Yumi. It's called Poly Toastmasters. And we also have a kickoff meeting on that. That's on May 17th also. Same day, but different time. And there's another one. Wonderful. How wonderful it is. The name of the company is Wonderful. That's being led by Debbie. That's the company one. So that's really up to Debbie and us how to get it because it's a corporate. And then there's another one. I don't know if Leo Soloki is here, but he is trying to get a club called Christian Faith Toastmasters. So you will see us campaigning for it. We will have a meeting about it on on Monday. We'll talk about it. It's a planning meeting. And by the way, going back to there's another one, Division E. It's a company, and in Division E called Entreport. We will have a kickoff meeting on that for May 30th.
29th.
20,
I think it was 29th, I thought.
29 is our readiness check for the charter. So we meet and we plan what are we going to bring, how we're going to present, who are going to do the Toastmastering of that, and so forth. And also wonderful, I think there's already a set kickoff meeting sometime in early June, right, Debbie? So those are the clubs that will be added from the one that we are trying to save. So when you add them all, we have a chance, a really great chance to get to beyond distinguished. And that's, of course, as you all know, we have two goals in Toastmasters, right? The first one is to achieve our own personal goals. The second one is to achieve our organizational goal, which is the district goal, be able to get to that distinguished excellence level. That's it. Back to you, Jim. Thank you so much for letting me talk.
You're welcome, sir. I dropped a copy of the slides in the chat room, so you don't have to sit there and hunt down links. Just feel free to get them. And for those of you who want a copy of the newsletter, I've had a couple of requests here. So I'm going to drop, once again, I'm going to drop my email address in the chat room. I hope I spelled my name right. Kearney. Yes, I got it. Okay. So if you want a copy of the newsletter so that you can see how it's done, just send me an email because I don't have all your email addresses. Send me an email and let me know, or pick up the phone and then we'll talk over the phone or something. But I'm not against sharing the newsletter. I think everyone who is doing an area or division should do it. Let everyone in their respective places know what's going on. So if there is nothing else, I'm going to turn the meeting back over to Tan so that he can have his last chance and last minute words before we exit. Tan?
All right, before we leave, Jim, Mr. Toastmaster, congratulations to Jim, President's Distinguished Area A1 Director.
Thank you. Thank you.
Magnificent. None other than you to give that personal training, personal insight on how to get there. Again, we want you to have the opportunity to finish strong, just like Jim in his area did. So I'm going to follow up actions, record this, stop recording, post it, and then share the recording afterwards. Debbie, do you have any final comments before we adjourn?
No, this is such great information. Let's be strong to the end. This is just so exciting. Back to you.
All right, meeting adjourned.